wait, here, you see this shot. Get the shot.
Oh, there's the
walking
Army.
away. Just don't get their face. That's all we ask. That's what they asked us.
Okay, so that's the Army right there.
Yeah. The ones that the fatigues are. So now we're taking all their stuff off, one at a time, 2 people at a time. We're going through their gear, and then after that, we're going to search the bus one more time, and we'll be done. Put the passengers back on and let them leave.
Okay. How did they get here? Where's their truck? I mean, but where's their Army car or whatever?
Back over here.
So we can get that? Oh, it's right there?
Yeah, well, they've also asked us if you didn't dump the equipment.
According to Mike Hansen, and the tape does show it, that gentleman right there seemed to be calling the shots, the plainclothes gentleman with the police officer. In every one of these operations we've studied, there is always an FBI handler merging the military and the police. I think this footage speaks for itself. How are you liking your secret police, America? Mike Hansen only had an hour and a half of videotape in his camera, so we had to leave. We're told the exercise went on for 9+ hours off of I-35. Mike had been there about an hour requesting some type of press release of what was really happening, when suddenly this silverish blue Crown Vic pulled in, and some type of law enforcement officer, some other handler, gave a copy of the memo to the Tibble police, who in turn gave it to Mike Hansen. And we'll show you some video of that here in just a second. And the reason we're proving that we got this document from Fort Hood is because it's so shocking. They admit that they served search warrants to people's homes with local police. We're talking about U.S. military in police or camo uniforms busting down people's doors. And they've become so arrogant that they've got the nerve to put it in a memo and admit they're doing it and then hand it out to us on the side of the highway when they've got a Greyhound bus pulled over and they're searching it. It doesn't get any more secret police than this. The military, working in civilian law enforcement, welcome to Mexico or Russia.
How you doing? I give you this.
Good.
This will explain what they do and how they do it. And why they do what they do, okay?
Okay, but our only question is the military is not supposed to be working with local law enforcement.
Right.
Y'all are supposed to be taking care of these problems, not military is supposed to be buying me.
Right, that's what this explains.
Okay.
The agreements.
I'm glad you gave me this.
Right, this is their document that says why they do what they do, the agreements they have with civilian law enforcement, and that kind of thing.
Why the military is hiding their faces?
Oh, I don't know. That's what they ask.
I understand that, but they if they're doing something just, if they're doing something just like y'all are, they should have their faces.
What I would suggest you do is ask Fort Hood spokesman.
Believe me, this is going to be a 2-hour show tonight. Believe me.
Okay.
All right, thank you,
But
sir.
I didn't want to get that to you.
All right.
Mike had been there about an hour when suddenly dump trucks from the city of Temple, Texas started showing up. Mike witnessed the police and the military ordering and directing them around to block Mike's camera view as well as the view of the mainstream media. Again, if the police and military are just working together to keep us safe from mad bombers, why not let the media get a view of what's happening? The facts are, my friends, this entire mission from our sources at Fort Hood was nothing less than a training mission. Of course, unfortunately, the local Temple police weren't let in on this secret, and neither were the terrified people on board the Greyhound bus or the driver. All of this at the public's expense. Unfortunately, it only gets worse. The Des Moines Register in Iowa, March 28, 2000. It seems it's an everyday occurrence to have the National Guard out for, quote, safety checkpoints being conducted with local police. Also in the April 10th, 2000 edition of Around Iowa. It seems they're having to propagandize the local public via the papers and condition them that it's okay to have the military out in police uniforms and dressed as civilians. Oh, that's not a telltale sign of the secret police. But don't worry, it says questions have been raised about the use of plainclothes Iowa National Guard troops. But Major Michael Cohen, a lawyer for the National Guard, he says there's no problem. Why, he says Congress says that it's A-OK. Well, I guess they've scrapped posse comitatus and we're going the way of Mexico or Russia. How can any serious American watch this? Anyone that has an even basic grasp of human history. My friends, this is the battle for the Republic. Mobilize against it today. You may be saying to yourself, well, it's just in Iowa this is happening. No. Knoxville, Tennessee. There's the Knoxville News-Sentinel mainstream newspaper. That's right, and the sheriff, Richard McElhaney, says, I'll do anything I can to get drugs out of this county. Wonder who's bringing them in, though, to cause the crisis so they can offer their solution. I wonder why scenes like this from Swansboro, North Carolina, are becoming an everyday occurrence, and we're being conditioned to accept it, along with the police and the military. It's all part of living in a command-and-control society. As we speak, the federal government is stealing private property by the tens of millions of acres. Of course, they claim it's for the environment. But take heart, America. I have a local affiliate to my syndicated radio broadcast in Knoxville, WHJM. We were able to rally against the checkpoints there with the National Guard, and it was put to an end. It was stopped. And right now, Richard McElhaney, the sheriff, is fighting for re-election. That's what it's all about, America. Taking action and getting in their face. This is not something that Americans should be made to accept. The National Guard's so-called assistance to local law enforcement. It's all part of a greater federal takeover of every facet of American society and our freedoms. One only has to look at the birthplace of SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics. Los Angeles, where the police have become killers, not defenders and protectors of the people, where they give each other rewards for shooting innocent people. They've now pled guilty to these crimes. Well, here we are in Florida, at the Hernando County Airport right outside Brooksville, Florida, where Army Special Operations along with Air Force Special Operations are training. We'd have no problem with that except for one thing. It's in the middle of a populated area. And most importantly, they're training with SWAT teams. The Hernando County SWAT team, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, the state police SWAT team from right here in Florida. We've seen countless training missions along these lines, some far worse and some less intrusive, all across the country. But make no mistake, this is a new phenomenon right here in America.
Sheriff's Office, how I direct your call. Sheriff's Office, how I direct your call.
Are you Mrs. Danner?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Alex Jones. How you doing? I'm a doctor and also syndicated radio specialist.
Oh, hi,
How you doing? We just want to know if we could ask you some questions here behind closed doors or wherever dressed about the Army and Air Force Special Operations in conjunction with the SWAT team here in Hernando County.
You know we're not in charge of the operation, and so they're answering any questions that the media has.
Oh, I'm just asking about the law enforcement's role and the training as reported by the local newspaper?
Well, I prefer that you just talk with them. They've asked us to just refer all questions to them. And I honestly, legitimately do not know what exactly they're doing. I just know that we are providing some SWAT team members, and we've been cooperating with them. I honestly don't know. I haven't been out there. I haven't seen anything. I haven't even talked to Captain Glick.
The real story of Brooksville is the way the people behaved. We got the military's training canceled by our presence, but not before we saw the bizarre Twilight Zone behavior of the locals.
You listen to some of the broadcasts, and they want to know.
Be watching the program and find out what type of training they're getting. How stupid do you think they are?
Do what?
The crooks will also be watching to see what kind of training that they're getting.
Well, our military will take out the crooks. That's a free country.
That's basically what's